The value of reading is greatly exaggerated. Not long ago, during a business interview, I strongly agree with this statement. So today, I'm sharing it with you. Of course, this doesn't mean that studying is useless. If reading itself is your goal, it's perfectly fine for relaxation and leisure. But if it's for learning or solving problems, then the method of reading might have been somewhat sanctified. What does that mean? First, we must admit it. Books from the past are the best knowledge in the body. None other than this. With books, I was no longer alone. But experience can still be kept. With books, 1,000 miles and 100 years are separated. You can also learn from experts. You haven't met Adam Smith, never met Drucker. He had never met Charlie Munger. But you can still open a book. See how they understand the world. Books freed knowledge from the human body, crossing space and time. This is truly remarkable. But times are changing. Up to today, are books still the best carriers of knowledge? Not necessarily. As a carrier, the book has 3 innate impressions. First, value instability. Is a book really worth reading? It largely depends on the author. The value of management practices. A large part comes from Drucker. The author has really worn rubber and walked through the wind. Only then did he put his experience into the book. There are books available. Maybe it's just filling a sentence into tens of thousands of words. And before you finish reading a book, it's hard to judge. Does this book really have value? This is the first level of instability. There is also a second level. The author has trouble in his head. That doesn't mean he can write it clearly. Some authors may be very professional and knowledgeable, but when written, it was dark and hard to understand. I have written quite a few books myself, but looking back, I also feel that my communication skills are actually quite average. So here's an inappropriate analogy. The author writes the book in a compressed way. Reading is a way to relieve stress, considering the author's skill level. Finally, what you can truly take with you. Maybe not as much as you imagine. Second, efficiency is not high enough. Reading is often linear. The author covers the first chapter through the second chapter, from concepts to case studies. Now, let's talk about the method. This is suitable for systematic learning, but the question you want to find is, it may not be linear. You might just be curious how to use this model, how to solve this problem. The answer might be mentioned on page 17. Page 86. Expand a bit. It was only on page 270 that it was finally explained. But before finishing reading, you don't know where it's hidden. So I read a book from start to finish. It may be a good way to understand a book, but if you go after a specific question, it may not be the most efficient. Third, short-term effect. A book, from starting to finishing, then to publishing, put on the shelves. It all takes time. Hurry up. It will probably take about a year. Classic theories are fine. Strategy, organization, marketing, finance. These are the underlying things. It never goes out of style for decades. Like ARI. Cross-border e-commerce, short videos, these fast-moving pieces of knowledge. After a year, they've probably been eliminated several times ago. When doing these things, and a set of martial arts manuals, when the book is released, it might already be a bit like historical records. Books are suitable for accumulating slow knowledge, but it's not suitable for chasing fast-paced problems. To sum up, value is unstable. Efficiency is not high enough. Short-term effect. So if reading is just a means, solving problems is the goal. Books may not be the best solution. So what should be done? 4 suggestions. First, identify more problems. This year, read 100 books. It sounds photogenic, but in reality, there is often no direction at all. There is no real problem I want to solve. Reading is just high-level information consumption. Problems are the engine of learning. A good question. It's more effective than flipping through a dozen books at random. What to learn? Why study? It always comes before how you learn. Second, let me mention it again without superstition. You need to build a foundational thinking framework. So go read the classics. We need to look for the latest changes. Just look up the data. Check the report. Chase the front line. Needs others' experience. So go do the interview. Ask the teacher. Find real practitioners. Books remain important, but it's just one tool in a toolbox, not the entire toolbox. No carrier is sacred. Respect the issue, not a carrier of superstition. Third, treat ARI as a learning interface. ARI will make mistakes. He can seriously talk nonsense, but it is still the most convenient today. A way to learn by talking directly with you. What does that mean? Reading. What does the author write? What are you reading? I can't understand it. You can only scroll down. I want to ask further. Sorry, books don't speak either. But you can say this to ARI. I don't understand this concept. Can you give me some examples from real life? It seems to be getting a bit of an idea. 5 questions were proposed. Quiz me. Fourth, output, action. In the end, whether you learn by reading books, still learning through AA, or through real-life learning, all must be checked by output, proven by action. You say you understand. Then can you use your own words? I will share it with others and can recount them. It means you remembered. You can put it another way to explain it. It means you truly understand. But understanding is enough. Knowing but not awakening. It's just unknown, truly learned. In the end, it all comes down to your actions. Next time, we will meet again. Can we find one more question? Next decision. Can you understand one more variable? Knowledge can only be realized through action. Talent truly becomes your ability. If one fully studies one's nature, then martial arts are not as good. Learning is actually a lot like drinking water. The difficulties you encounter are your thirst, and knowledge is the water that quenches thirst. Water is the source of life. You must cherish water. Cherish the water and drink plenty of water. But books are good too. Ari is one thing. They are all just cups for water. You can't just quench your thirst. Kneel down and set that cup. Follow you run, lowering the cognitive barrier for business.